NMS e-learning systems is proud to present our lead consultant, the DLA Guru. The DLA Guru has been successfully contracting with the DLA for the past 20 years, and he is poised to provide end-to-end B2B consulting services and professional training services to empower our clients with effective strategies and repeatable contracting solutions to gain an edge in winning both supply and/or service contract awards through the Defense Logistics Agency and the U.S. federal government. This video training segment will showcase one of the many methods derived by the DLA Guru to assist our students and clients on how to best unlock the powerful functionalities of SAI Global's Logicom and Opportunity Manager data management online software tools for increased success with winning federal supply and services contracts through the DLA and the U.S. federal government. Grab a pad and a pen, sit back and relax, and learn how the DLA Guru empowers our clients and students on being successful with the DLA and the U.S. federal government.
Congratulations on connecting with the SAI Global family.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I just want to let you know, Don, I am actually working in my St. Louis office. So I'm in St. Louis, Missouri now. So you may see some activity in the back.
Okay.
Is my camera on?
No, his camera's not on.
Okay, no wonder. Okay, let me. Hey, come on in. Yeah. Let me collect.
I gotta tell you though, Kiwi, I tell you that software is, like you said, it's a powerful tool. Oh my God, I'm getting all kind of information, you know?
Yes, yes, sir.
It is really, really very helpful.
I don't know why my camera isn't working. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
In fact, let me. Integrated. Okay, you know what? I think my camera is not working. That's why it's not working. Okay, I'm sorry. Done. Our session hasn't completely started until we start talking about what we got going on. I'm just wondering what. Oh well, you know what? It's not working. It's not working. Okay, that'll do it. That's powerful to the camera. And I want to make sure that the camera is, there it is, there. Okay.
There you are.
All right, there I am there. All right, cool. So yeah, I'm in one of our offices here in St. Louis. So Don, you may see some traffic going back and forth behind me.
Fine with me, that's okay.
Yeah, don't mind the staff, but yeah, we're just doing what we do best, working with the government. So that's that. And so back to what I was saying before, yeah, congratulations on linking with the SAI Global family. My hope today in our 30 minutes of training or so is to further empower you by helping to answer any questions you have, and also with the onboarding process, making sure that you get some hacks on how to assemble your net most efficiently, and you'll kind of grow from there. All right, cool. So I think the first step would probably be me sharing your screen the way we did last time, where I can kind of control your mouse and probably get the most benefit. So I'm sharing our screens now, so you can give me not only, and I think I have to request, once you share your screen with me, then I'm going to request control of your screen.
Okay, share screen, there we go.
Yep, so once that pops up.
Now I got to tell you though, sir, so I was doing very well. I set up a couple of watch list folders, and you losing me on the Microsoft Excel area.
Okay.
You know, with the Microsoft Excel, I know you mentioned something about that internal thing that you guys use.
Yes,
and
sir.
I don't have that yet. I don't know if you're going to set me up with that too.
Yes, I will. Yeah,
okay,
we can do both of those today. Okay, so you're not sharing your screen as of yet. I still see you.
Let me see, what am I doing wrong here? I see screen. So I hit that button there. And then, what else do I do? Share, okay, I see it bottom right. There we go.
All right, perfect. And now what I'll do is request remote control, so you and I both can control your screen.
Okay, I got DIBBS open, I got the SAO, Logicom open, and the Opportunity Manager already open, ready to go.
Okay, great. And now, did you get the pop-up that allows me control of your screen as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. We accept that. And then the other thing we'll do today is bring up that Excel spreadsheet, the NMS RFQ sheet.
Okay.
you may have that up too as an Excel spreadsheet already. Looks like you got something Excel there.
I got a couple things down there though, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to use it or not. We'll see. I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
It's that actual program you downloaded off the HEC website.
Oh, okay.
No, that bundle. So you got the part pricing sheet, and then there was an Excel spreadsheet that came with that bundle.
Let me see. I don't remember that one.
Oh, no problem.
Shall I go in and log in now with that and bring everything up?
Well, no, there's two pieces of software. So what's on the screen now is the part pricing sheet, but go ahead and log in because we might as well go ahead and log in there. And then there is an Excel spreadsheet as well that was downloaded when you downloaded this bundle. So we may have to look in your downloads queue again to pull that up.
Okay. I think that's it. Oh, man. What was the I did it. Did I do that right? SAI !2022 to username. Oh, you know what? I did use the other thing. I went with something else. I remember now. 44, and then that should be right. Password. There you go.
Okay, cool. Then you click the home button again there in the upper left-hand corner. And then you can click part pricing sheet. Yeah. Okay. So that's just that in the backdrop, but we won't be using this tool today. Okay. So you can minimize this. And then I would say the browser that you typically use to, when you went on HEC's website to download the software, is this the browser here?
Yeah, it should be, yes.
Okay, cool. Let me grab control and see if I can look in your downloads queue, possibly. Okay. And this may show when you downloaded the SAI Global, the part pricing tool. I'm just not sure. Okay, no, it doesn't show it in there. I don't know where you downloaded from the last time we were together. Remember which folder you downloaded everything into? I think it was a folder we created on your desktop. I'm not sure if it's still there.
I got so much stuff on that desktop. I'm trying to remember exactly which one you're referring to though.
Okay, no problem. I know I created a NMS e-learning systems desktop folder. Okay. I remember doing that. Let's see. There it is, right here. Here it is.
There it is. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then in here, this is everything that was downloaded from the HEC website. So let's go into this folder here, and then this is the tool we're talking about, the NMS data mining software tool. Internally, we call it the RFQ sheet. Okay. But so I'm go ahead and launch this guy. This is the tool that you use in conjunction, that we designed custom in-house that you can use in conjunction with the SAI Global software. Okay. This is where you basically kind of put all your fish together and you're able to send this out to all of your
That's what I was looking for. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know. Okay, that's what I was looking for, this one, yes.
Okay, and I'm not sure if you have to sign into Microsoft at all. You want to sign into your Microsoft account in order to unlock this spreadsheet.
Let's see. No, nothing is happening.
You may not necessarily need this. I'm not sure if you have a Microsoft 360 account.
Yeah, because I normally I always cancel that out, so I don't think I need it.
All right, you don't need it then. All right, good. So it says, Simon, we can't upload or download your change because your cache credentials have expired. Not exactly sure what that's all about. Okay, yeah, that should have nothing to do with using the software. Okay, I notice here your name and then there's exclamation point. So this is something going on with Microsoft, just FYI. Okay. Right. But okay, so with the data mining sheet or the NMS data mining software tool, the first thing I would do is recommend, let's go ahead and bookmark this guy so that you can easily find it in the future. Okay. And typically the way we do this, it's not bringing it up here. Okay, well, let me just click save a copy first of all. And we're gonna save it in the same folder that's there. So we'll just say save. And do you want to replace it? And we say, okay. All right, now what I'd like to do is just kind of bookmark this guy for you. Yeah, I don't know. This is something with your Microsoft account, why it keeps asking that. So just that, but like you said, you close right out of it, it's okay.
Right.
And then I'm looking for it here, but it's not popping up there for some reason. Here, let me shut it down real quick. And then I'm gonna file. Uh-oh. We're gonna do a file, and then we're gonna open. And normally it has it in here to show more workbooks. Make it easy, like today.
Mhm.
It's not showing the workbooks from today. Not popping up in here for some reason. Interesting. Okay, so we'll just do browse, and we'll go to desktop. I'm gonna go to the NMS Learning Systems folder here, on here, and then this tool. I was just trying to make it easy for you to find it easy.
Right, retrieve it for next time, Rick.
Yeah, normally when you go into, it could have something to do with this little pop-up that it's not allowing it to remember or see it in here for some reason. But at least you know where it's at. It's in the NMS e-learning systems folder. Okay, right. So with your tool, you have a few data tabs that come with the tool. So you have the raw data tab. This is basically where all your fish will be dumped into this tab that you extract from SAI Global. Okay. And then you're going to have your single RFQ data input tab that allows you to basically kind of siphon through the fish that you want, and then you can do the research in this section here, and we're going to do a little bit of that together. I'm just giving you kind of an overview. Okay, that's fine. And this third tab is going to be your single RFQ sheet that will basically be emailed out to your vendor base. Okay. And what I recommend having, which I don't see here, we're going to add another line item in here, well, a function. And where would that be? We're gonna go home.
So this pretty much gonna take the place of me not having to call those vendors. You're just gonna shoot the email out. They're gonna get everything ready on the desktop.
Yeah, but you'll have to, prepare. I mean, do you use Microsoft Outlook for your email?
No, I do not.
Okay, so this will have to be used in conjunction with Microsoft Outlook. Okay. All right, because Outlook is basically part of the Microsoft family, and it will link to your Microsoft Excel spreadsheet software. Okay. And be able to email from Outlook this particular form. Okay. All right.
I do have an Outlook though, but I never really used it though, but I can set it up.
Yeah, and I would recommend setting that up. And that way you can create an address book in Outlook that has like your different suppliers that you're working with. And you can kind of create like your group, supplier list. So for example, I know you're in medical equipment, so you may have some key medical equipment suppliers that do, let's say, medical devices, or that you may have one for medical, like syringes or whatever you may be, as far as how you want to categorize it. That's what I recommend. But once you're in, I still want to kind of set this up for you real quick, because this is a part of what you'll need, and we're going to add some more commands. And the command that you're going to really care about right now, once you get Microsoft Excel, your Outlook up and running, is going to be your send function. So I'm just going to scroll down, and we're going to find send. S-E-N-D. Send now. So we have a few different ways to send. All right. So we're going to add this one to your, and then we're going to. And then we'll add the send now as well. Add that in there. So we got that send. Okay, good. All right, and then we're gonna click OK. All right, now what that did, it created this little button here that's just easy to get to, and that way you are able to send send a copy of the work. You don't want to send the actual sheet itself. You want to send you want to send what's inside of here. And that's not going to be an attachment. Maybe it's because you don't have Outlook set up, and that's why it's not allowing that function to happen right now. All right, that may be a different training that we'll have to do, because once you get your Outlook set up, your Outlook will be integrated with your Excel and allow you to send this sheet instead of sending it as an attachment. You don't want to send it as an attachment because you may be sending it to multiple vendors, and it'll just be basically that. So Yeah, that send function is not allowing that. Here, I'm gonna try one more thing too that my mind's on it. Make sure I got all the right commands in there, but it should be send as an attachment though. I mean, sorry, it should not be sent as an attachment. All commands, and then we're gonna go back down in here. Just want to make sure I got all the sends, because you're using a different version of Microsoft Office than I am, so
Okay.
little nuances change every now and then with the different versions of Microsoft. Send backwards and forwards, send for reviews, send down, send back. Yeah, and let me see if maybe they call it email too. Here we are. All right, so we got email. I'm gonna add this one to your guy here, and we don't want to email us that. Okay, so hopefully one of these functions work. Look at here. I'm curious to see what this is connected to. See, Outlook couldn't start last time. Safe mode could this. Yeah, so once you play around with your Outlook, basically you want to get your Outlook connected to your Excel.
Okay.
And so this is what this is trying to do now, but I'll go ahead and cancel all this. Are you sure you want to exit? Yeah, we'll exit. Let you do that a different day. Now, what you're doing now, you're using are you using Gmail?
Yes, Gmail.
Okay, Gmail to email out now. Yeah, that's another thing too, Don. I would highly recommend, especially when you're going out into the industry. I recommend getting a, I think the name of your company is Marshall. What's the name of your
Marshall
company?
Group.
Marshall Group. I recommend getting a marshallgroup.com profile.
Okay.
So that way you can get because these companies will take you a little bit more seriously if you're emailing them from let's say, don@marshallgroup.com versus don@gmail.com. All right. Something about that I think it'll definitely increase your credibility in the marketplace as it relates to that as well. And that's where Microsoft Outlook comes into play when you get that. I typically don't provide like training as it relates to setting up Outlook. You may want to get like an IT professional to kind of help you set that up on the back end. And that will really unlock the power of these tools that we provide as well.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to answer your original question though, let's go into your SAI Global account. You can go ahead and bring it on screen for me.
All right. Gotta minimize this. Super right over here. Go right over here. There we go. Sorry, that's not it. Is that it? Oh.
Yeah, you can just open it all up.
It just opened up there. There we go. Okay.
There it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're in there. All right, fantastic. And another thing too, Don, like with Gmail, it does provide you with your SMTP and your POP server credentials within Gmail that you can load into Outlook. So again, I don't know if you have anyone that can kind of assist you with turning on your Outlook and mapping it with your Gmail account. But I recommend that. All right, cool. All right, so back to SAI Global. So what you're showing here, you got two tabs open, which is great. You have your Logicom, and I'm just gonna this is just by habit. I like to kind of have the Logicom first, and then you have Opportunity Manager in this screen right here. So let me scroll that up there. I'm just gonna hit the refresh button just to make sure we get a fresh copy for today. And I'm gonna refresh copy here too.
Okay.
You're all logged in. Great. All right. So now with the Opportunity Manager, I noticed that you have 3 folders that you've created prior to today, and you have the N95 mask, and there are 4 opportunities that are in that folder. And you'll notice that these other 2 folders have 0 opportunities. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
To be honest with you, I didn't realize I did something right. So to see that number 4 in there, so I said, oh man, something popped up in there. But I did it with the EKG machines first, long time ago. So nothing. So that tells me I maybe have done something wrong, or there may just not be no solicitations, correct?
Right. So let me go ahead. We'll start there, and I'll go through all 3 of your folders just to see how you've connected them. So the first thing, of course, is hitting the radio button to elect for that particular, I like to call it net. So that's one of our fisherman nets for EKG machines. So we're going to go into setup to see how you've set up the EKG machines. First thing is great that you put it on 30 days because I typically don't like fish older than 30 days old. So it should automatically purge any type of opportunities that are beyond the 30-day expiration date. So that it doesn't become like this folder that has thousands of opportunities in it that you can't even use. So it's a good function that that SAI Global provides. And then what I like to do too is click the email account owner. That way, if you forget to go into your SAI Global or you don't want to make it a daily where you're logging in every day, you'll at least check your email daily, where you can get an email that will be emailed to you whenever a fish populates this particular net. Gotcha. Now, whatever email address you have on your account is the email address. So if it's your Gmail account, it will automatically email there for you. Another good function of this software is that if you have other team members that you're working with, that you can also send emails directly to them as well. And by checking this box, and then you go down here and you actually input another person's or a team member's email address in there. But if you don't have anything down here as far as alert recipients, then you uncheck this and there's no one there to send it, right? Okay. All right, so as long as that box checked, you're good to go. Now, I see you have 3 criteria. You have NAICS codes, but I'm gonna go ahead and click on there to see which ones you have in there. And it looks like that you put this code in there, which is great. I will tell you that I wouldn't recommend I would leave these all unchecked. That way you get to see visibility to every single thing. And I know that you're looking just for small business and things, but I recommend getting every fish that kind of comes into the folder. Okay. All right. And so we'll go ahead and save there. Now I will tell you NAICS codes. I haven't really found a lot of success with fish coming into the designated folder just based off NAICS codes alone. I don't know if the DLA doesn't provide or isn't really connected to NAICS codes. Now you may get lucky. I mean, there are millions of them. The ones that we use in-house, I've never had our folders populated by NAICS codes. But it doesn't mean that you can't put that in here as a criteria. So just FYI that. Like if you have folders that only are NAICS code only, that you may never get fish in there. So it's always good to have a combination of things as you have here. NSNs, the cage codes, which is great. All right, now let me go ahead and click on the NSN. And I notice here that, you only have 3 NSNs for these particular EKG machines, which is great. I recommend putting as many NSNs that you can find that are related to equipment that you can get your hands on, the more the merrier. So like whenever you have such a small number of NSNs, this may be a folder that doesn't get populated very often because it's just not enough, enough criteria for it to work against. All right, so I'm curious just to double check to make sure that this NSN is a good NSN. Let me go here and go here. And I'm just gonna just drop that NSN in there real quick and just kind of research it. And so this must be a company that you're familiar with, I take it.
No, I just pulled it off the SAI.
Okay, all right. So when I put that NSN, it's telling me that this is the manufacturer of this particular EKG machine. Okay. And so what I would recommend from there is, let's say that you did have an opportunity for this. So you would, definitely need to be reaching out to this company to establish a relationship with them so that if an opportunity does come, that you have them kind of in your hip pocket. And what's so great about the software is that you can click on the cage code here and it's going to begin to give you information on the company. So you got a phone number that's here. They're based in Libertyville, Illinois, which I don't know how far it is here from St. Louis, but that's there. So it's always good to reach out. And if you scroll down every now and then, depending on how the company is registered within SAM, you may get points of contact information. So right now it's empty. So typically when that happens, this company may not be doing a whole heck of a lot of business with the federal government, you see. Okay. But it's always good to give them a phone call and find out if they're still in business and things of that nature, because there's a chance that the company may not still even be in business any longer. All right. So the power of the DLA and SAI Global is definitely having companies that are viable, that you have relationships with, that you can then use the software to kind of track opportunities as they surface. All right. So that's a definite pro to it. Now, let me go back here. And I won't go through each one of these NSNs for sake of time, but that's just kind of a process to kind of keep in mind. So that looks good so far there. Let me go to this other tab here and go back here. Boom. Okay, cool. And now we're going to look at cage codes. All right. Now, I notice here you have cage code 78039. Let's go back over to this tab here. And there's the cage code, which is great, 78039.
Okay.
And you know what, just for the sake of, since there's only 2 other NSNs in there, we got time. You know, I'm gonna take a look at these other 2 NSNs. Cancel here. Let's go in here and take a look at these guys, because if you have the cage code to this NSN, so I'm curious to see what company this one comes up to be. I'm gonna clear. Drop that NSN in there. Click search. All right, same company. So there's that cage code again, great. And then, so you got parity there. All right, and then we're gonna go back in here, go to this button. Yeah, I got it. This is interesting to like use your screen and not be on my computer.
Okay.
It takes a little bit of a skill to get through this too. All right, now, here's another company. So Neotech, do you have a relationship with Neotech?
Do not.
Not as of yet. Okay, so what we'll do is grab their cage code, also just like you did with the other company, and we're gonna drop their cage code. Here, let me save that, and I want to also drop their cage code in here, because I know right now you're just kind of exploratory, just seeing what opportunities are out there and see what's populating. But it's always good to kind of cover all the bases, you know, as you're beginning to build your folders out. All right, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save here because we just updated that. I'm gonna go back in a second, but I'm curious to click on the company. So Neotech, they're based in California. There's their phone number. Let's scroll down and see if there's any contact information. No records found. So this may be another one of those companies that may not be real viable and doing a lot of business with the DLA, you know, possibly. Another thing to do is to take their cage code, and this is another great hack. We're using the software by putting in their cage code here. Now we can search to see how many of their products are registered with the DLA.
Okay.
And I normally like to put my page size down to 100.
Okay.
So that, you know, you at least can see on one page if you have at least 100 listings. So Neotech has a handful of NSNs that are registered within the federal databases. Okay. So, and you'll notice here, another little hack, the stocking prices are 0, meaning that there probably isn't a lot of activity with the DLA buying this product. Okay. So I wouldn't recommend this particular manufacturer as well. I should say recommend. It's great to put them in the net because it costs you anything. You have unlimited number of search criteria that you can put in your account. But this wouldn't be a company that I would think you're going to find a lot of activity with the DLA with, right? They just don't have a lot of NSNs in the queue, and there's just not a lot of data here, right?
And again, that was the first one that I did too. But I noticed I'm on like 4, 5, or 6 ones later, and I got a little better at it though, and I really got one right here that I would like to try with you maybe. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So when I go to, let me see how do I steer right here. I discovered a shortcut. I'm sure you probably know about it. Let me just do it real quick so you'll see. So if we go to DIBBS real quick, these 3 things right here, they are hydrant nozzles. Okay, now if I wanted to find out, is it a big ticket item, I pull these 3 up, then I would, let me see, no, that's not really what I wanted to do. Let me show you what I do here and tell me, does this make sense or not? 4210. Drop down my box to FSC, and then I go to my search, and then hold on, what happened?
Hit refresh. Hit the refresh button.
That's what I need. Refresh. Yeah. Okay. 4210. Because this was the one here that I wanted to talk about with you. Then we hit the right. Oh, come on, thingy. Drop down box there. 209 should pop up. 206 now. So I go here and I see those clusters that I was just talking about. They're 141 and 55 and let me find it. What was it? Right here. These three, 141, 41, and 55. Okay. These are the same thing here. So what I would normally do just to find out more about what they cost per item, I click go there. Boom, all three of them popped up here.
Okay.
So next, I take that case code, like you say, I took that case code here. Copy. Well, I just remember 0092. Go to the right one here. I think I pop it in this one or the other one. Let me see. This the one. 0092 right there. Then I go to my search and here they go. They pop up here. Now, so what I would normally do, find that one for 55, which is the second one right here. Go to that NSN. Then I go to my procurement history, and I know how much these things cost a pop.
Yeah. So
the pop, let me move that down a little bit. So there's $620 a pop here. I called a guy this morning. I'm trying to start a relationship with him, Tyler Sullivan, and he's going to get back with me on the price breakdown. But again, remember, I got all three clusters. That was and then where the hell can I find it again? See, this is where I get a little confused a little bit though. But the three clusters, put that back out of there. Get over here. Come on, thingy. What happened?
I think I know what
you think you know what I'm trying to do?
I do, sir. And here I can see how it gets a little like complicated because it's So here, the first thing I would do, is that a smart thing to do for first answer that one question? Is that a smart thing to do so I can see what that one item costs so I know what I'm working with? Yes, it's very smart. But okay, so this is the thing with the DLA. It's so many different opportunities out there. So I want you to make sure that you don't get too where you're just you have too many things going on, right? Okay. So you want to kind of focus in on a speciality. So for example, Akron Brass Company. Yes. So you've reached out to them and you're beginning to cultivate a relationship directly with the manufacturer, correct? Right, but here's the thing though. When I went to that case code and put that information in, I found out they was $620 a pop, but it wasn't under ACOM, it was under JGB Enterprise, and that's who I spoke with today. So they are a competitor. So you don't want to speak to those guys because they're already doing business with the DLA. So Akron is the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. So this is the company that I think it should be the manufacturer. Now, the first thing we would do, instead of, we're going to just grab the NSN, all right? Okay. Or better yet, you said the cage, all right? But I did the cage. Yeah, we'll get both out of it. So let's start with the NSN first, because this NSN represents these three solicitations. Correct. And I imagine you like this because the quantity that the government is buying. So on this particular solicitation, they want to buy 141 of this NSN. They're buying 41 of this NSN and buying 55. So those are really good numbers of items, because of course, the more you sell, you make a small percentage of each one. That's when you can really start to change your life around. Mm-hmm. All right. So what we'll do is going into SAI Global. And from the research perspective, I always like to use Logicom, and we're just going to just drop the NSN in there. Okay. All right. So first thing is we want to kind of get an idea of who are the manufacturers that are associated with NSN, because that's the source. You always want to make sure that you're trying to get as close to who makes the product as possible. Mm-hmm. All right. So we find Akron Brass is in here. That's where they have their cage code. And then this particular NSN falls under 3 different part numbers under I keep saying Akron, it's Akron, Akron Brass Company. All right. So the first thing I would do, just for the sake of training and to get more familiarized with SAI Global, what I would do is create a folder, and I would call it Akron Brass. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and save that there. All right, and now what I'll do is go in and actually create a net for Akron Grass Company. And we'll do it this way. Go in and we'll go ahead and check the 30 days. We're gonna say email us. And then also what we're gonna do is do a import. And we're gonna say the criteria is gonna be the national stock numbers, NSNs, that represent Akron.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna put this in. And then and typically you can either put it with hyphens or without hyphens. I typically don't like to keep hyphens in them as it relates to building my net. So I just remove the hyphens out of it. Okay, so we're gonna click save just for the time being. And then I'm gonna click save again. So that's saving that criteria. Now I'm gonna go back into Logicom. And since Akron is represented by this cage code, what I'll do is highlight the cage. We're gonna go back into Opportunity Manager, go back into Setup, and then we're gonna go ahead and import, and we're gonna use the cage code as criteria for this particular vendor.
Got it, okay.
And then the description, we're gonna call it cage code. And then drop down menu, cage code. And it's also kind of cool if you have like a cage code and part number. These are like different ways that you can kind of create it, but I kind of try to keep it as simple as possible by just putting in just the standard cage code information just like that, and click save. All right, now we'll save again. So now we have two different criteria that the net is going to be looking for, specifically those NSNs, that one NSN and anything coming from Akron. Now, another thing we can do is drop Akron's cage code in here and then do a search for how many different opportunities or different national stock numbers does Akron have. And so now this is where it kind of gets really interesting, because you see a lot more numbers in this column. So there's a lot more activity going on with Akron as it relates to the DLA. All right, so this would be a company that I would be really interested in doing business with, because there's a lot of data that's already in the system, and we're seeing some activity as it relates to Akron. And so what we're going to do now is go into the actual cage code itself. And so
the information.
This is the information. Now you had contacted a competitor, and I'll show you that competitor in a second, to say that's kind of a no-no because they don't want you to win. So you want to go to the source. And so the source is going to be phone numbers there. Even if you got into sending faxes and announcements or trying to get in contact with folks, but I always recommend giving the company a call, let them know that you're interested in becoming a dealer of their products. A lot of times they'll say, yay, no problem. Or they'll say, hey, we're not accepting new dealers at this time in your area, but we will recommend some dealers in your area that you can reach out to, and you can begin to establish a relationship with those dealers.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's a website for them. I always research. So here you can just grab the URL and go straight to the company's website, get a little bit more information on the company. You can see they've been around for a long time.
2018, wow, 1918, God dang.
1918, they've been in business for a long, long time, you see. Sure. And so then as you scroll down, sometimes they'll give you a little bit more information about, points of contact within the company, like email addresses, but you'll see that none of the information is there. So there may be kind of a more of an older school kind of company where picking up the phone is probably your best bet. All right. Now, another hack too for you, and I believe you're located or are you in Colorado?
Florida. No, I'm in Florida.
Central you're Florida. In Florida. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I'm mixing it with another client. So you're in Florida. So I think typically as you're beginning to build your business is looking in your own backyard. I would be looking at companies that you can literally set up dates and appointments and walk in and shake hands and build your manufacturing base in your backyard before you kind of become a national company when you're first getting started. Because a lot of what we're doing with the DLA is all about relationships with the vendors. Finding out if they sell to the government. If they don't, that's a plus for you, because you're going to be specializing in that, and you won't cannibalize some of the business that they already got set up. All right, now another thing too we're going to check here is going and looking at their cage code For some reason, it's not allowing me to select the screen here. Oh, there it is. Okay, I think it was a lag with the Zoom call here. Okay, yeah, Zoom is kind of lagging, so pardon me. All right, now what I'm also curious to do is find out. I'm just gonna drop their cage, which I think you did this already. And I'm just gonna just see. Okay, yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah,
so
that's everything that popped up.
Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities that are like within, that are out there. Some of these are old, probably expired, some of them, because it tells you the respond dates by.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of these go back as far as, these are all look like they're pretty current. So this is also another reason why, Akron may be a great company to reach out to. Here, let me show you another cool hack. So all of these different NSNs, we want to capture those, Don. And what we're going to do is download them as an Excel spreadsheet, and you'll see it kind of loading here. It's still downloading all the data. I think once that little window.
This comes to the tricky part for me here, and I did this a couple of times, so I got to look carefully because sometimes you be moving so fast with the mouse too, and I try to find out through every position so I can do the same thing. But I'm still with you so far. So I download it, going to put it to an Excel sheet. Then I know you're going to take those numbers, then you're going to put it on a separate Excel sheet, and then you're going to drop those NSCs into your notepad.
Yes, into the notepad.
I know we're not talking about notepad now, but I know that's what you would normally do.
Yes,
sir. I've been doing that as well.
Yep, and we're going to do that, and that's great. So that's exactly the next step there. So what I'm doing now is highlighting all the registered national stock numbers, which is a combination of the NIIN and the FSC code and the NIIN.
13 digits, right? Okay.
And then we're gonna just open up a new notepad. I'm just gonna open this one a little wider for the sake of this. And we're gonna drop in all those NSNs into here.
Okay.
And what I then do, I like to remove the tab in between the first column to the second column, which is this space here. So all I do is just hit the shift button and hit the right cursor key over to highlight that tab. I copy that tab space. And again, this is going to be in the video that you can watch again. Okay. And then what I do is do Control H. And what I want to do, I'm going to paste in the tab. So
this is where you lose me at, Keith. To be honest with you, this is where you lose me at. So when you lose me, I just say, you know what? I'm not going to go through those different steps you're doing. I'll just go by each line and I just bring them in together like that.
Okay, just bring them in.
But take it slow with me though, because I'm really not a control shifter type kind of guy. I don't know those controls. So now tell me again, let's take it slow. Tell me again, how can I close the gap?
All right, no problem. All right, so I just dropped the data from Excel into my notepad.
Right.
And so now what I want to do, I basically want to get rid of this space out of my notepad. And so the best way of doing that is to put the cursor, as you see there.
Under the zero, okay.
I hold down the shift key on my keyboard.
Okay.
And then you right click or you click on the right arrow key on your keyboard. See the right arrow key down? It's probably down.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
All right. So while holding the shift and then I just hit the right arrow key, it highlights it just like that.
Okay.
All right. So you try it on your end. Hit your shift and then right arrow key, and you'll see that you can see how I did that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now what you do is Control C is to copy, or you can also go into Edit, and you can see Control C is just the.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
For copy. So you can copy, and what we just did, we copied this little gap.
Okay.
All right, now what I want to do, I want to find and replace. So by going Edit, you're going to say, I want to replace, which is Control H. And so typically it would be blanked out in here. So what do you want to find? You want to do a paste, because we want to find what? We want to find that gap, and we want to replace the gap with nothing. So just leave that there and then say replace all. And like magic, Notepad gets rid of all those little gaps for you.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm with you.
Gaps will throw SAI Global off. That's why you want to make sure that there are no gaps in between the FSC code and the NIIN. Okay. All right. So, and then also you'll notice some duplicates. So, with the DLA, and this isn't an SAI Global issue, it's pulling data straight from the DLA. So sometimes there's duplicates because it's the government. So you'll notice that a lot of these NSNs look like duplicates. So that's why I like to highlight all that And then I go back into my Excel spreadsheet and I just create a new tab.
Okay, I'm with you, okay.
Okay, and in this tab, I just highlight the entire sheet. And then by hitting Control-1, that's gonna allow me to go in and change the type of information that I'm putting in here. And you have to follow these steps here, which will be on the playback. That'll help you manipulate the data a little more efficiently.
Roger.
All right, so we do this and just drop the data right in there. And then we're gonna go to data, and you want to remove duplicates, which, where is the remove duplicates at? See, it's not set up the way mine is, so I had to find out where the remove duplicates is at. Here. Oh, there it is.
Yours and mine is definitely different. I'm trying to stay with you. I'm saying, you know what, we got different screens though.
Yeah, so this is the remove duplicates button right here. And then we click OK. And then we say, click this. And then by removing duplicates, all the duplicates that were in that column are now gone.
Okay.
So now what we can do is take those NSNs. We're going to go back into our SAI Global software. Go back here. Back into our folder that we created for Akron Brass Company.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to put here NSNs. And we're going to just drop all the NSNs that are related to Akron Brass that are registered. And then we're going to click. Actually, I think I may have this one already duplicated in here. Let me just double check something. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry. I'm going to go back in here. What I want to do, I think I must have closed that window now on accident, but it's okay. So I'm going to go back into Akron Brass, NSNs. Yeah, okay, so I closed down the window prematurely. All right, but hold on one second here. Let me go back into my Excel spreadsheet. Copy that information again. Yeah, all your windows are, they're not popping up fast. Okay. So they're roughly 1,045, and what I was trying to do is want to see if this was in here twice. Yeah, it's in here twice, so we can get rid of the second occurrence of it. SAI Global is okay. It's not like you'll get duplicate information, but I always kind of like to have all my duplicates removed out of here.
Okay.
So that I guess the software doesn't work as hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So now what we have is NSNs, cage code, everything's in there. We click save. And so that particular net, as relates to SAI Global, is now formed.
Now set.
Yeah, it's good and set for you. And we go back here. So now within the next 24 hours, and chances are you're going to find information coming in here, because even with looking at what's active out there on the street, it seems like every few days there's an opportunity that comes up for the DLA, and where they want to get some something that's manufactured by Akron Brass Company.
Okay.
All right, so then that's great. Let's move over to your flame-resistant pants.
Pants.
Okay, so there's nothing in there now. We're gonna go into setup. Just want to look at it, and I notice here that you have the criteria as probably just the name pants. Okay, and you have.
Is that wrong to do that? That's wrong, right?
No, it's however you. It's the software is so intuitive that you're able to create your folders based off of how you want to run it, you know. So if you're saying, hey, anything that pants related, you're putting in this particular cage code. Now, the only danger to this though is that this cage may be more than just pants, right? So we can double check that in a second. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that up and running. We're gonna go back over to SAI Global. I'm going to do a little search just on the cage code that you populated in there, because I'm curious to find out more about this company. All right, so the name of this company is the Forest Service Specifications. So this isn't really a company, this is a spec.
Okay.
All right. That the United States Forest Service, I guess, group kind of maintains these specifications. Now, the key is there are companies that know how to manufacture this particular, like, for example, these sleeping bags. So this might be a military issue sleeping bag that this particular federal agency in Washington, D.C. is, like, I guess, manages the information. All right. Okay. So first thing that I would do, these are a little bit more complicated whenever it's kind of specifications that you're working against. But sometimes what you can do, you get lucky, you can go into the drawings, and there are no drawings for this particular product, this sleeping bag. They're going to technical characteristics. And so it kind of tells you some information about it. We look at procurement history. And what's cool about the research here is that, I'm gonna open this up a little bit so I can see it a little more. Just a little bit. All right, so what this does is showing you that there's a company, RLCB Incorporated. They may be part of the National Industries of the Blind, because it says, FT Blind. I'm not really sure who this company is, but they've had activity back in 2004.
Right.
So this particular, cage code, or I should say this NSN that we did a deep dive in, ending in 0798, may not be, something that the DLA is buying a lot of, And even here, you can look at the forecast, like the purchase history. It kind of shows you, we're talking almost 20 years ago that the government was doing some work with this. So this may not be one that I would recommend tracking, because the government has kind of moved on from that, you see. All right, so hopefully I'm not confusing you too much. It's just that with this company name, this specification, these are more difficult to kind of get your hands on this type of product. So I wouldn't recommend this cage code as one that I would follow at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah, because it'd just kind of be a waste of, just looking at that energy. So I would recommend removing this particular one from your profile. Okay. For now.
We'll get that out of there.
All right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll delete it just for sake of helping you to get all set up. Okay. All right. Now, I know you mentioned that you are involved in the medical supply industry. Did you retire from that industry, Don? Yeah,
I'm medical and I'm fire. I did 30 years in military, U.S. Army, and I did 30 years in the fire department, Miami-Dade Fire.
Okay, Miami-Dade Fire Unit. Yeah. So what are some
heavy into fire equipment and medical?
What are some good manufacturing brands that you remember working with, that you trusted and that you kind of, liked working with back in the day?
Fire trucks, Emergency One, Baxter. It's medical equipment, so that's those two sections there.
Okay, good. So Baxter, I've heard of Baxter. So let's start from that perspective, because I want this to really get you kind of set up in that lane. Okay. So Baxter, I know there's Baxter Healthcare, Baxter. Is this the company we're talking about, Baxter Healthcare?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, and so you'll notice that the key word is really sensitive, because you see Baxter Rubber comes in there and all that kind of stuff. So like honing in on the exact name is going to reap a lot of benefits to you. So let me put health, HEALTH care. All right, so we'll go ahead and do a search for that, and it gets rid of, see, I got rid of that Baxter Rubber. Yes, so any occurrences of Baxter Healthcare is what's going to be, the data that's going to be presented here. Now, the next step is, a lot of times these bigger companies, like these pharmaceutical companies or medical supply companies, they don't necessarily do business with small companies, small businesses. So another step of this would be having companies that the brand, and you have an end in that you can get your hands onto the product. So if you have a relationship with Baxter Healthcare, which is great, or if you don't, hitting their cage code, figuring out where they're located. They're in Illinois, here's their phone number, and then scrolling down to see if there's any email information. There's nothing here. So then you would be, picking up the phone, let them know who you are, letting them know that you're interested in becoming a dealer of their products, to see if they offer that opportunity.
Okay.
All right, and they may say yes, or they may say no. If they say no, then they'll push you to a authorized dealer in your Florida area that handles your territory. That then you can begin to establish a relationship to get your hands onto Baxter Healthcare products. So just for the sake of this training, what I recommend is taking the Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to create a Baxter, since that's a name that came to mind. We're going to create a folder just for Baxter. So while that's downloading all that good stuff, okay, he's good and downloaded. So what we're going to do now is open up the spreadsheet, click yes, and then we're going to click enable editing. Okay, and we're going to go up here. Dun, dun, dun. We're going to just take all those NSNs, and there are 6,924 records that have come up here. So we're going to go back into our trusty notepad, delete those other NSNs out of there, and drop these guys in there. And you'll notice some duplicates I can already see. We're going to do Control H and just say replace all, because it remembers where we were last time. It remembers the little tab and all that good stuff. That's so cool about computers. And then we're going to highlight the NSNs in our notepad. We're going to go back to our Excel spreadsheet, create a tab. We're going to highlight the entire tab and hit Control 1. And we're going to make all the fields be numbers without decimal places. Believe you me, these steps are going to help you. All right. And then we're basically going to now go into our data, and we're going to remove duplicates here from column D. And it got rid of 1,878 duplicates and left you with just, your data without duplicates. So we're going to highlight all those NSNs that are Baxter related. We're going to go back into your SAI Global account. We're going to go into Opportunity Manager, and we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call it Baxter. All right. And then we're going to save Baxter Healthcare in our as one of our nets. Now we're going to go into Baxter Healthcare, and we're going to import NS, which probably remembers us from last time. Okay, and then there's there. And then we're going to just drop all those NSNs right in there like such. And keep in mind, SAI Global is good up to about 9,000 NSNs in one folder. So if you exceed 9,000, it may take a long time for it to save the data. So I recommend breaking it up. And I typically like my account, my different folders to be no more than about 5,000 in each folder. NSNs. So you'll see, see it thinking it's going to take a little minute because there's 5,000 records that is saving to your account right now. So we'll let that save. And while that's saving, I like to multitask. I'm always moving and grooving. Everyone knows in my office that, I just move really quick. So while it's doing that, we're going to basically go to our other tab, and we're going to take it to the very top. And I go to the cage column here. Okay. Being that our search criteria was Baxter Healthcare, you'll notice that there are multiple NSNs that Baxter has registered with the DLA. So here, we don't want the duplicates as well. So I highlight that column. Then I'm going to click remove duplicates. Continue with the current selection. We're going to remove duplicates just in the cage code column. So there was 6,832 duplicate values. So there's only 92 cage codes that Baxter Healthcare has registered with the DLA. So we want to capture all 92. So all I did is capture those. We're going to go back into our SAI Global here. Hold on, let me move this a little bit. Still. Okay, Baxter. So I think it saved all those NSNs in there for us. So now what we can do, I click the word save just to make sure. Hate to lose all that good data. Hold down some of these windows. Sometimes, you have all these windows open it up and you kind of lose control. So I close down windows from time to time just to keep myself on the straight and narrow. So go back into setup, and then I'm gonna click email account owner, click the 30 days. Click another
import, drop them in.
Gauge code. Yeah.
Gauge.
Yeah, I get a lot of multitasking going on here.
Okay.
And then we're gonna drop those 92 or so cage codes right there. They are 92 of them right in there. Cool. So now we created this folder that has all the Baxters in a sense that are registered within the DLA databases, and we have all the Baxter cage codes that may be called out in solicitations that the DLA is looking to buy on a daily basis, right? So we click save, boom. So now we have, we removed the folder and replaced it with a folder that you have some knowledge base on, right?
Right.
And then the next step would be for you to contact Baxter, right? And then start to forge a relationship with Baxter, if not them directly, with their authorized tier 1 distributors that service the Florida area. So you can begin to kind of cultivate that, right? Mm-hmm. And you'll see tomorrow when you grab your cup of coffee and you come into your office, you're gonna have fish in the folder. You're gonna have fish in the folder. All right, so let's look at how our folder looks with fish. So this is great that you have this guy here, and I'm gonna go ahead and click. I click the radio button and click the actual folder itself, and you'll see that you got 4 fish in the folder.
Right.
All right, this is great. Now this is where the NMS data mining tool comes into play, because now what you're going to do is download all of these fish directly from this folder. So these 4, we're going to download them. So it's going to hit the download button. It's already in Excel format, so it's downloading them now for you. I'll let that finish downloading. It'll let you know when it's done, because you won't see that little ring around there any longer. So we're going to open this guy up. Okay, cool. All right, so these are your 4 fish that you collected from SAI Global. So what I do, I highlight the 4, and I just highlight all that data that's in there and hit Control-C. So now I want to take these fish from this folder, from this spreadsheet, and put it into our data mining software tool. All right, so it's still giving you the sign-in question, which you don't need. So what we'll do here, we're on the raw data tab. And so what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna paste and just paste the values only. Okay. All right. So all that sample criteria, we can get rid of this now. That's all samples that kind of came with the tool itself. So now what I'm doing is looking at those 4 fish. And the reason why the tool is so powerful, because it's tailored to the information you pull straight from SAI Global. By dropping it in here, you can scroll over and see how all these columns are already populated for you with all the great information. The response date, you'll notice I have filters on here too for you. The response date helps you to know which fish are good and which ones are bad. So today is October 11th. So all these fish are great because some of them are expiring on the 17th, 22nd, 21st, and November the 10th, right? So that's great information there. So we know we got fresh fish that we can kind of play around with. And then what I do, I scroll all the way over to a column. Hold on here. We're having some lag again. This. Okay. All right, I want to go to my quantity column. So what I do here, I highlight the quantity column, and then I'm gonna go to my data tab again. Data. And then I click on the button that says text column, text the columns, and I just click that button and click finish. Okay. And what that does, it removes those little carrots. It removes those carrots because those carrots, they interfere with how the spreadsheet works. So you have to follow this procedure every time in order to really unlock the power of this tool. Okay. So now what we do, we go over to this tab, and you'll notice that those fish are already populated in here. And so what I'm gonna do is name this one, this is N95 ops, like opportunities, we can call it. Okay. All right, so you kind of, it helps you to remember where you left off of, like, okay, who are these fish again? Oh yeah, they're N95 fish. All right, so then I just highlight all that. And so anything that's zeroed out, we can just get rid of that. Now, as far as the tool, you see this red box that says do not touch line. So this line is the line that's feeding from the other tab, from the raw data tab. So when you highlight here, if you know anything about Excel, it's pointing as a reference. It's pulling data straight from this black tab here. So I just say, don't touch this line, just to kind of, you basically copy this line whenever you put new fish in your raw data tab, copy that line and then just paste it all the way down, and it'll just pull all the fish from one tab to the other. So that's the reason for that, right? So I was just kind of showing you that again so you'll know why I say do not touch that line. So now you have these 4 fish in here and you're like, okay, great. I typically throw fish back if I don't have a solicitation that's calling out for at least 10 opportunities. Now you may want to work with all of them. So like, for example, this one where the government is buying just one, I wouldn't deal with this one because there's probably not enough money on the table. It's not worth my time, right? So I'm always looking for a minimum of 10 opportunities, items that they're buying on one particular solicitation for it to make sense for me to even do the data mining. So I'm gonna go down to the one that says 424. We're gonna highlight this highlight that whole line the way we're doing here, and then you take it up here, and we're gonna go to home. We're gonna paste value. So all it did was take all that information from down below and put it up high. Now we can remove this fish from this area here. That's why I have do not touch line, but you can delete all the rest of them below the red line. That way see the progress. So
can I just highlight that whole line and then right click and paste?
Yeah, you could you can do it that way, but you don't want to paste the cell, you want to paste the values. All right, so I would follow my steps exactly the way I'm doing it, just to keep the tool from like going haywire.
Okay.
All right, so now what we do is take the NSN. So I want to research this NSN. So this is where we go back into SAI Global. So go into SAI Global, we're gonna go to the Logicom tab. We're gonna clear this out, and we're gonna drop that NSN because now I want to just see, these are N95 opportunities. And so it's calling out for 3M, which I knew most 3M makes, most of the N95 masks. And so in here, we're going to put the 3M company, and everyone knows 3M stands for Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing Company. So all this is 3M stuff. And then you get another manufacturer, Petro Technology, that has their product in there that the DLA recognizes, right? So we're going to go back into our spreadsheet here, our data mining tool. And now what we're going to do, we can change the manufacturer's name to 3M Company. Now, if you notice here, there's a bunch of different part numbers that are represented, that represent this particular protective dust cap.
Okay.
And you can call out all these different numbers, but what I typically try to do is just make sure that the DLA, I want to give the DLA what they're asking for. So what I'm going to do is go here by taking the NSN. I'm just going to drop the NSN right in here and search. So what that's going to do is going to bring up the solicitation. So you'll see this one for 424 ends in 0623, which is the same thing on your Excel spreadsheet as well. That's why we have this little field here. Here's the 0623. So you could have gotten it straight from here as well. So there's 2 different locations that you can get the data from. All right. It pulls it straight from the tool into here. So what I'm doing here now is highlighting this particular solicitation. And you can actually click on it. Some days the server is connected to the DLA and it doesn't have any lag. Some days it does, it hiccups a little bit. Uh-oh. That's a little lag there from me. Uh-oh. There it is there. All right, I was trying to open this up a little bit. All right, cool. And all right, and so let me scroll this down here real quick. I'm gonna zoom in. What I'm looking for in section B, we want to see what part number are they calling out for, because there was a lot of them in there. And so this helps me just to kind of hone in. So you see, here it is. So they want these 3 part numbers right here. This is what they care about. All the rest of the stuff is probably old, innocent information that the DLA is not really, necessarily recognizing. So I go straight to the solicitation, especially when there's a bunch of different part numbers there.
Okay.
And now I can take straight the part number here, and we're going to go back into our software. And we're going to drop in part number there. And I say comma or space, go back to our notepad, our trusty old notepad. And we're going to grab this other innocent information here, which is this part number. So we're going to go right back to our pricing tool, drop that in there. And then I'm going to say, or go back into our notepad. I'm going to actually grab this part number 2, since they call out for this manufacturer as well, because you might be able to contact both 3M and this manufacturer, Petra, and get a price from Petra as well. All right, so then we're gonna put in their name. So we know 3M Company and Petra Technology. Copy. Or Petra Technology. So you kind of see the thought process, how this tool works.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now what we're gonna do is go into SAI Global again. We're gonna go into Logicom. And so now we're going to click on any one of these NIN line items because they're all the same one. And now we're going to look at the unit of issue, which is each. And then we're going to go into our procurement history. So we know unit of issue is each. Procurement history shows that Petra is not selling directly to the government, and neither is 3M. So they're working through distributors like ourselves, right? So the last time the government bought this was back in February of 2020. And they bought it for $61.62. So February 2020, $61.62. So we're gonna go into our spreadsheet here. And I just drop in February 3rd of 2020. And then 61.60, 1.62. And we know the unit of measures each. All right, so we just did the data mining for this particular opportunity. This is where this other tab comes into play, single RFQ sheet. You notice here, Don, it brings in some information for you automatically. So I basically give my vendors at least 2 to 3 days to respond. So let's reduce it down to 2. So you can literally go in and edit this particular sheet to your benefit, right? So why is it not putting the 2 in there? I think we're getting some lag. Give me a second. Cursor stopped working there. Okay, there it is. 2. Boom. Up. Put 22 in there. So here we're gonna go back up there. Let's remove one of those 2s. All right. So all that's doing is basically, I highlight a lot of this different information for your vendors so that they'll know what's kind of going on. You can put your different account numbers. Like you can actually update this sheet to your liking. The vendor quote reference number is the NSN. It pulls it straight from this tab here. And you'll see all that information just pulls over from your RFQ data input tab. And then it lets you know, we always kind of throw off our vendors and never let them know exactly when the government awarded it, because you would be the prime. So you should have all the knowledge, but you want to give them a kind of an idea of how recently the government bought this. And so I just basically put, like a 30 days in the past from the actual date. Again, the key to being successful with the DLA and working with your manufacturers and your vendor base is that you want to have 100% of the knowledge and give your vendor base a little bit of it just in order for you to negotiate with them, right? And then if you notice here, the recommended price point, by looking at this, the function here, I put a 29% reduction over where the government bought it last. So the government bought it at $61 and some change, but I'm telling my vendor, hey, I need to buy it from you around $43 so that you can have enough cushion to make a markup where you can make some profit in the event that you award the contract.
Gotcha.
All right, so this tool, I mean, if you think 29% is too big, you want to make it a little smaller, you say, hey, I don't need the 29% gap. If you want to make it 15%, you just put a little 15 in here, that drops it down 15%. So it's whatever percent you want as a company for your negotiating power.
Okay.
rule of thumb in retail, they say the 20%, like if you go to Best Buy and you're buying something off of Best Buy shelf, normally it's anywhere, a minimum of 20% is where Best Buy will mark up any product they're selling. So kind of keep those in mind as it relates to retail. Now, the government doesn't buy retail, of course. So it's all about how you're able to negotiate the price.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that you have the sheet put together, if your Outlook was up and running, you would be able to then email this as an actual embedded email to vendors. And so Petra, I'm interested in Petra because I've never actually heard of them before. So this is kind of cool where you can go in to your SAI Global, and we're going to learn a little bit about Petra real quick here, because that would be a company that I would recommend that you would contact. So you just click their cage code. They're based in San Antonio. They don't have a phone number here, but the government called out for them in a solicitation. So the government says, hey, this company is recognized by the DLA. But look, no information is in here about them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have a phone number. So what you would have to do then is Google them and see if they have a website and things of that nature, because does it sound like they're doing a whole lot of business with the DLA directly? So this may give you a great opportunity to be a small business dealer for Petra. And they may say, yeah, hey, we'll give you a price on that item. And you might be able to get a really low price and be able to offer this to the government. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. I can talk on this for hours, but I wanted to make sure that I at least kind of let you hit the ground running on how to kind of get your account set up with SAI Global, as well as it relates to these fish in your database here. Once you extract the fish too from this folder, what I recommend, since you already you have them loaded into your data mining tool here,
right?
I recommend deleting these fish out of here so that you don't find yourself dealing with the same fish all the time. So once you extract them, once you export them, then you can just click the delete tool, and it'll basically delete all those out of there. So now all your folders are zero, and you have to wait with another 24 hours tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time stamp the SAI Global will do its query with the government, but I know it's done every 24 hours.
Okay. But again, I can't push that email out until I set up that Outlook, right?
No, you can actually create your own if you wanted to, in the meantime, if you didn't want to, utilize the tool, but you have all the data that you need here. Okay. So you can recreate, literally, I think you can copy and paste this whole thing here. Let me do it like this. We can just highlight this whole sheet, copy the sheet. This is kind of a hack that you can do in the meantime. And you can copy that and just paste the data right there. Or you can put it in Microsoft, if you go to the very top here, it has all the information in here for you. And also, actually, since we're on here, let me do this for you, Don. Let's go ahead and tailor this to you, Donald, M-A-R-S-H-A-L, and purchasing manager, and your company name is Marshall
Group. The Marshall Group LLC.
See, and then you can put your email address. You can fill all this information in. Insert your email and all that good stuff. And that way, when you highlight this whole entire, this whole thing here, you copy this whole sheet. You go into your notepad, or you might want to go into Microsoft Word. It's up to you. We'll just do a file, a new blank document. You just drop all that in there, and this kind of shows you what that would look like. That perspective, and it'll have all that information in there. Or you can put it in Notepad and then copy it over to your Gmail, and then fire your email off once you get your email addresses of your different supply vendors that you want to work with. Yeah, that's one way of doing that. So, as you can see here, this tool, design, kind of wanted to layout, orientation, landscape. Yeah. And we can highlight all that. You size of all that. Well, no, reducing the size is not gonna help. It's just that the formats are all off, and that's why, I mean, the tool wasn't really designed for you to copy and paste it into Microsoft.
Right.
But it's really designed, I mean, if you're doing it in Notepad, you're gonna get all the data in Notepad. You can go to view, check the word wrap off, open this guy up a little bit. So you can kind of see how everything is kind of built in there for you, and you can change your name here. I think you kind of understand what it is here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can fill all the information in there. So that would be, in essence, your first RFQ that you can send out to your vendor base. And of course, you don't have to put an account number because you don't have that account there, but your quote reference number is there and all that good stuff. So now when you email this out, your vendors can respond to your email with their pricing and respond directly to it. And then hopefully they'll do a reply, and that way it'll reference this NSN in their response to you. So you will be able to go into your pricing sheet. And then, as we did in our last training, that's where you go here. Once you get a response from your vendor and you drop all that information in, you price it all out to the DLA. Right. That's kind of how you began to design this system around working with your vendors, getting pricing, saving it into the tool, and then submitting your bids through the DIBBS platform, and just kind of wait to see, when the awards start to roll in the event that your pricing is favorable, of course.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of information there too. We just went over too. There's a lot of information. I'm just going to review the video over and over again and try to get it down though. But like you said, first things first, I got to set up that Outlook and try to connect the dots with that.
Yes,
and
sir.
Get that sent out.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's another way I can do it like this though. But I think I like your way better with the Outlook. Get that done.
Yeah. You'll find efficiencies like you wouldn't believe. We've been doing it for 20 years the same way, and it's worked out very well. I'm curious to see what these folders look like. So again, part of in closing, as you continue to build your fishing net, again, looking in your backyard, going back into your experience with the different manufacturers, fire retardant, equipment and things like that, like literally begin to build this net, this web based off of what that, because you work for the government, what the government likes, what works well, and then start to forge those relationships with those vendors as well.
Okay, so back to like at the beginning when you said don't use that JBG Enterprise in reference to the R-Ron Brass Company. You said that's my competitor.
Yes.
So you say I don't want to do that?
No, I wouldn't recommend it because they already have information. So even to that, I think it was 09. What's that cage code? Hold on, let me see here. I can kind of
0900912.
00912. Yeah, I'll show you this real quick here. So, man, I don't remember what that.
Oh no, hold on. Oh, try this. What this year JBG cage code was 61125.
Yeah. One second. I'm gonna do it this way real quick because this might be a better way. I'm just gonna put there in here, and then there was that opportunity for 420. That was one for like 424 of them or something. Was it? It was this. It was this.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that innocent, and I'm just gonna drop him right in here. I'm gonna do a search, and when we go to the NIIN and look at the past award procurement history, that's where that JGB Enterprises came.
That's right. That's where I got them from.
They won this opportunity back in June of this year.
Okay.
And you see they won it. So it's a duplicate of the same. They probably had 2 line items in here. That's why it's in here twice or something. Mm-hmm. But you'll see that the other vendors, and this is pay size 10. So we'll do the drop down to 100. And then just see how many kind of pop up in here. And you'll see that JGB is kind of a new kid on the block. If you look at the past awards, like almost 20 years ago, you'll see that Apex was kind of doing it. Allsafe came in. I'll say, here's JGB, here they are back in 2016. So they've been a player in this. They've been competing with a handful of vendors for this particular NSN for years.
Okay.
So JGB is not interested in you coming in and being a prime at all. So contacting them is not going to behoove you. They're probably going to give you a price that's bigger than what they're selling the government. You're just wasting your time. You have to get to the source of who's making it, because they don't make it as a distributor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just go back to that OEM, right?
Back to the OEM. All paths lead to the OEM. All paths lead there. Yeah.
Okay. I got a little cheat sheet here too with all the OEM medical folks too that I wrote down.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That'll be a start too. I got all the manufacturers, the OEMs right here. So GE, Simon, Abbott, everybody, Stryker.
Yeah,
that's a start too.
And that's a start. And then if you're able to find, like, when you worked in industry, if there was a local vendor in Florida that you guys bought all your equipment from, I would reach out to that vendor, because they're probably a national master distributor that probably doesn't do business with the DLA. And then you can get in with them and get access to all of these different brands, because they are already a master distributor of those brands. Sort of like a Grainger. You want to find the equivalent to Grainger in your industry that you're in when you're first getting started. Yeah.
All righty.
All right, cool. Well, hey,
Okay.
I hope that
you left me with a lot of information there. Yeah. Damn. Woo. That's a lot of information right there you just left me with though. But I reviewed the video. I got a good working knowledge of everything though, and I can always reach out to you again. And how do you do that? The charge though, the 30-minute, 45 minutes, or an hour. How do you normally do that? How does that work?
Yeah, it's the same with the calendar invite. So I'll send you the link that has kind of the paid consultations where you can request a 30-minute or a 1-hour paid consultation with me, where I can do a deeper dive into things that you're specifically working on. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how this SAI Global works out for you. I'm almost positive that you're going to see some great benefits from the software. So yeah, as time goes on, take a look at the video. I'll send you the link once it's ready. Review it, review it. If there are any specific questions as it relates to that, I'm just a few clicks away.
We hope that our video has both educated and inspired you to grow more with us. Feel free to explore our NMS e-learning systems product solution links as provided below. If you are interested in learning how you can obtain a discounted subscription with SAI Global's featured DLA data management online software tools, including additional world-class one-on-one contracted training services with the NMS e-learning systems team, please email your request for additional information to fed.contracting@nmsupply.com today. Please be sure to click both the like button and subscribe button, including the notification bell, so you can be alerted when our new exclusive NMS e-learning systems video content is posted to empower you.